Jai Gurudev. So we'll start with chapter 4, knowledge and the renunciation of action. That is Jnana Karma Sannyasa Yoga. Just give me a second. Huh? And because I'm able to hear my own voice again as an echo.
Relating Prabhuji.
Yeah, you're able to see now?
Yes, please.
Yeah. The problem is I changed the iPhone and then there is some issue with the Zoom. Yeah, is it better now? You can hear, right? I hope I don't hear my own voice again. So, knowledge and the renunciation of action. The origins of Karma Yoga. Oh, I'm sorry I'm having to make you wait today because then I need to fix this YouTube thing. If one of you can start reading, I'll share the screen. The
Jai Gurudev, Ramaraji. Yeah, I will do the prayer and then I'll start.
please start. Please start.
Om. 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 सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये ॐ श्रीकृष्ण परमात्मने नमः अथ चतुर्थोऽध्यायः ज्ञानकर्मसन्न्यासयोगः श्रीभगवानुवाच इमं विवस्वते योगं प्रोक्तवानहमव्ययम् विवस्वान्मनवे प्राहः मनुरिक्ष्वाकवे ब्रवीत् The blessed Lord said, I taught this imperishable yoga to Vivaswan. Vivaswan taught to Manu. Manu taught it to Ishwaku. एवं परम्परा प्राप्तमिमं राजर्षयो विदुः सकाले नेह महता योगो नष्टः परन्तप. This knowledge handed down thus in regular succession, the royal sages knew. This yoga, by long lapse of time, has been lost here, O Parantapa, burner of the foes. स एवायं मया तेद्य योगः प्रोक्तः पुरातनः भक्तोऽसि मे सखा चेति रहस्यं ह्येतदुत्तमम्. That some ancient yoga has been today taught to you by me, for you are my devotee and my friend. This is a supreme secret. Arjuna uvacha aparam bhavato janma param janma vivasvatah कथमेतद्विजानीयां त्वमादौ प्रोक्तवानिति. Arjuna said, later was your birth and prior was the birth of Vivaswan. Son, how am I to understand that you taught this yoga in the beginning? Shri Bhagavan Bahuni me vyatitani janmani tava charjuna tanyaham veda sarvani natvam vetha parantapa. The blessed Lord said, many births of mine have passed as well as yours, O Arjuna. I know them all, but you know them not, O Parantapa, scorcher of foes. अजोऽपि सन्न्यव अजोऽपि सन्नव्यत व्ययात्मा अजोऽपि सन्नव्ययात्मा भूतानामीश्वरोऽपि सन् प्रकृतिं स्वामधिष्ठाय सम्भवाम्यात्ममायया. Though I am unborn and am of imperishable nature, and though I am the Lord of all beings, yet ruling over my own nature, I take birth by my own Maya. यदा यदा हि धर्मस्य ग्लानिर्भवति भारत अभ्युत्थानमधर्मस्य तदात्मानं सृजाम्यहम्. Whenever there is decay of righteousness, O Bharata, and a rise of unrighteousness, then I manifest myself. परित्राणाय साधूनां विनाशाय च दुष्कृतां धर्म संस्थापनार्थाय संभवामि युगे युगे. For the protection of the good, for the destruction of the wicked, and for the establishment of righteousness, I am born in every age.
Like Gurudev, Bella, thank you for stepping in.
Yeah, धन्यवाद.
Finally, I was able to fix the YouTube thing because I was hearing an echo. The same thing kept coming back. So
Yeah, there
finally
is
was
an
able to.
internet issue also
No,
since midnight today. Yeah.
was there? Maybe, I'm
Yes,
not sure. Internet is not
very
an
bad
issue.
internet issue. Yeah,
Oh,
but we
my
can hear you clearly now.
yeah. No, the internet is not an issue. The issue was I changed my phone and I forgot to set the alarm. That's number one. Second, so it was my body clock that woke me, but it was beyond 5. The second is this YouTube thing. I wasn't able to stop the YouTube. So I was here, this what I was speaking. After a few seconds, I was able to hear it back as an echo. So that was something I finally was able to fix. And yeah, and thank you to all of you for patiently waiting. So in case such a thing happens, no, please get started, and yeah, we'll get going now. So chapter 4 is knowledge and the renunciation of action. Jnana Karma Sannyasa Yoga. The origins of Karma Yoga. In the first 3 verses of the 4th chapter, Krishna sums up the subject matter of Karma Yoga by indicating to Arjuna that it is not something new. Krishna, as the Lord, had initiated it in the beginning of creation, and since then, Karma Yoga has been handed down from generation to generation, even though it has not always been well preserved. To become a sannyasi requires a mature and contemplative disposition. You cannot simply decide to be mature or contemplative. Either you are or you are not. What you can do, however, is to live your life in such a way that you can gain a contemplative disposition. This is Karma Yoga. So I will read this one more time. So Lord Krishna says in the first 3 verses of the 4th chapter, Krishna sums up the subject matter of Karma Yoga by indicating to Arjuna that it is not something new. Krishna, as the Lord, had initiated it in the beginning of creation, and since then, Karma Yoga has been handed down from generation to generation, even though it has not always been well preserved. To become a sannyasi requires a mature and contemplative disposition. You cannot simply decide to be mature or contemplative. Either you are or you are not. What you can do, however, is to live your life in such a way that you can gain a contemplative disposition. This is karma yoga. In order to gain self-knowledge, which is moksha or liberation, you have to recognize your nature as being free from action, as that which is the very center of the entire creation, the reality of everything. And in order for this recognition to take place, you can live a life of sannyasa or a life of karma yoga. Karma yoga is engaging yourself in activities with the proper attitude. Pravritti lakshanaha yoga.
It's breaking, Ramraji.
Huh? Is the voice okay or is it cracking?
Yeah. Now it's okay. Now it's okay.
Okay. So, in order to gain self-knowledge, which is moksha or liberation, you have to recognize your nature as being free from action, as that which is the very center of the entire creation, the reality of everything. And in order for this recognition to take place, you can live a life of sannyasa or a life of karma yoga. Karma yoga is engaging yourself in activities with the proper attitude. Pravritti lakshanaha yoga. And sannyasa or jnana yoga is the renunciation of all activities. Nivritti lakshanaha sannyasa. Thus, Nivritti Lakshana Jnana Yoga is for the sannyasis, and Pravritti Lakshana Yoga, Karma Yoga, is for everyone else. This twofold yoga is all that is intended to be unfolded throughout the Gita. In fact, Krishna had already completed the teaching in the second and third chapters. Knowing that he had taught all that had to be taught, Krishna now praises this yoga, telling Arjuna that what he had taught him was something very old, introduced by himself as Ishvara in the very beginning, meaning in the Veda. So, Karma Yoga is Pravritti Lakshana Yoga, that is engaging yourself in activities but with a proper attitude. And Jnana Sannyasa is Jnana Yoga or Nivritti Lakshana Jnana Yoga. From teacher to student, Sampradaya. In order to convey that this knowledge is something that is to be gained from a teacher by a student, who in turn hands it down to another student, a story is told. In understanding realities, it really does not matter who told whom. Nevertheless, certain names are mentioned. The flow downward from one generation to another is called sampradaya. So, the flow downward from one generation to another is called sampradaya. This sampradaya is important because this teaching has to be handled by someone who knows what it is all about. Therefore, the sampradaya is always introduced either in the beginning or at the end of the text. Seeing the dialogue reaching a certain completeness, Krishna presents the sampradaya and praises the knowledge. Because in chapter 2, actually, he's completed both Jnana Yoga and Karma Yoga. And chapter 3, again, clarified Arjuna's questions about Karma Yoga. So therefore, Krishna is presenting the Sampradaya. श्रीभगवानुवाच इमं विवस्वते योगं प्रोक्तवानहमव्ययम् विवस्वान् मनवे प्राह मनुरिक्ष्वाकवे ब्रवीत् एवं परम्परा प्राप्तम् इमं राजर्षयो विदुः सकाले नेह महता योगो नष्टः परन्तप. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha said, Aham, I, Vivasvate, to Vivaswan, Imam, this, Avyayam, imperishable, Yogam, yoga, Proktavan, taught or told, Vivaswan, Manave Praha, Vivaswan, to Manu, told, Manu, Manu, Ikshvakave, to Ikshvaku, Abravit, told. Evam, in this manner, parampara praptam, handed down from generation to generation, imam, this rajarshayaha, the king who were sages, the kings who were sages, viduhu, knew, parantapa, O scorcher of enemies, Arjuna, iha, in this world, saha, that yogaha, yoga, mahata kalena, over a long time, nashtaha, declined. So Shri Bhagavan Uvacha, Aham Vivasvate imam avyayam yogam proktavan Vivasvan manave praha Manuhu ikshvakave abravit evam parampara praptam imam rajarshayah viduhu parantapa iha saha yogaha mahata kalena nashtaha. Shri Bhagavan said, I taught this imperishable yoga to Vivaswan. Vivaswan taught it to Manu, and Manu taught it to Ikshvaku. Handed down from generation to generation in this way, the kings who were sages knew it. But with the long lapse of time, O Arjuna, this yoga has declined in the world. Here, Krishna tells Arjuna that he was the one who had introduced this knowledge in the Vedas in the beginning itself, meaning along with the creation. Through Vivaswan, the head of the solar clan, Surya Vamsha. There was also another clan, the lunar clan, Chandravamsha. The Mahabharata was an epic about the lunar clan, and the Ramayana was about the solar clan. Vivaswan also is a name given to the sun as a deity, the Lord Sun. Krishna is saying here that this knowledge had come down from Ishvara alone, referring to himself as the Lord. It is not something that is created by a given intellect, nor is it mere speculation. It is the knowledge that comes down from Ishvara along with the creation itself. The difference between this knowledge and the other revealed bodies of knowledge is that it is something to be recognized. It is knowledge that I am the whole. Any other form of revelation requires you to believe something. Some kind of a promise is always given, if only with reference to an afterlife. However, in the knowledge that I am the whole, there is no promise involved. The statement, you are that, Tattvam Asi, is not a promise. That you are Brahman is a simple statement of fact, just as the statement, water is H2O and it boils at 100 degrees centigrade at atmospheric pressure is a fact. and not a promise. Because it is a statement of fact, you are Brahman, is something that is to be understood. A statement of fact is verifiable knowledge. It is not something to be believed, as is the case in other forms of revealed bodies of knowledge. We must know, however, that these other revelations are also talking about the same reality. Thus, there is no problem. It is all the Lord's knowledge. Because knowledge is not something that belongs to any one particular person or culture, we say that it is Ishvara's knowledge. This twofold yoga, sannyasa and karma yoga, was initiated by Krishna, that is Ishvara, in the beginning, through Vivaswan, the head of the solar clan. Therefore, he says, Vivasvate aham proktavan. Lord Sun is introduced here to convey the idea that this particular knowledge comes from Ishvara. Then, by the grace of Lord Sun, it was handed over to his son Manu, who was the first king, the lawgiver for humanity. Manu taught his own son Ikshvaku in turn. So I'll just go back here. So this knowledge is not something that is to be believed. This knowledge is something to be understood. Unlike other revealed bodies of knowledge. And it is not something that is created by a given intellect. It is there. And it is not mere speculation. It is the knowledge that comes down from Ishvara along with the creation itself. And the difference between this type of knowledge and other revealed bodies is that it is something to be recognized because it is always there. It is not like it was created by someone. That Sat Chit Ananda, that Chit aspect is permanent, is eternal. It is knowledge that I am the whole. Any other form of revelation requires you to believe something. Some kind of a promise is always given, if only with reference to an afterlife. However, in the knowledge that I am the whole, there is no promise involved. It is only a statement of fact. It is the truth. The statement you are that Tattvamasi is not a promise. That you are Brahman is a simple statement of fact. Just as the statement, water is H2O and it boils at 100 degrees at atmospheric pressure, is a fact and not a promise. Because it is a statement of fact, you are Brahman, is something that is to be understood. A statement of fact is verifiable knowledge. It is not something to be believed, as is the case in other forms of revealed bodies of knowledge. We must know, however, that these other revelations are also talking about the same reality. Thus, there is no problem. It is all the Lord's knowledge. Because knowledge is not something that belongs to any one particular person or culture, we say that it is Ishvara's knowledge. This is a very important thing, right? So you don't say this belongs to any particular culture. It is something that is universal. Knowledge is not something that belongs to any particular person or culture. That's why it's called Sanatana Dharma. Not only is it eternal, it is universal. This twofold yoga, sannyasa and karma yoga, this was done. So self-knowledge does not go away. Anybody wants to share or ask? Fine. So self-knowledge
This was
does,
Sampradaya, right, Dr. Brahma?
yeah.
So it says that is passed on to Guru to Sishya, like a teacher to student, like that. Is that what's called Sampradaya?
Right.
Okay.
When it is passed on from,
So he passed it on to Vivaswan, then it went on to Manu and then to Swaku. So it was given to people in the past, but over time it got faded away. And then he said about solar clan and then lunar
clan.
Yeah. So they all had that knowledge, but then somewhere in the middle it was not passed on, basically, right? So that
Mahata
part,
kalena nashtaha.
yeah. So that part is kind of missed. So again, in that Mahabharata war, Arjuna got this knowledge.
Correct.
So it comes out. So the
So it's
knowledge
not that the
is
knowledge
important.
disappeared.
Yeah. The knowledge is not been passed on like
Passed on.
that. The knowledge is that Tattvamasi, right? You are the Brahman. It's a statement of the fact, like he said. It's a fact, but then you have to have better understanding of it. Like that water example you gave, it boils at 100 degrees centigrade. So it's a fact unless you boil it to see, measure the temperature like that, then we know this is it. Right?
Correct. You can verify it.
Verify it, yeah.
Yeah.
The knowledge can be.
But so the bottom line is, this is not a knowledge that needs to be believed. And
Right.
it's not a promise.
Yeah. It is
something
there.
to be understood and recognized.
Recognized, yeah. So it's a revealed knowledge rather than anybody created it. So it's not somebody to not have the faith in it, right? Like sometimes, oh, these are like somebody wrote it. I don't like that. It's actually the revelation that came from Lord itself.
So knowledge is existence. See that Sat Chit Ananda, that Sat aspect is truth. That is Kalatrayepi Tishtati iti Sat. That which exists in all the three.
All the time. Yeah.
All the three kalas, right? And then Chit is Jnana Swarupaha. It is knowledge principle. And that knowledge principle is something that
consciousness
is there with creation. It comes from, it is there embedded in creation. You cannot again say, when did knowledge come? You cannot give a date of birth to knowledge. Neither does it have an expiry date. It is there from the beginning of creation. That is the only thing that exists. Because if you look back at the whole origin of creation, Brahmashraya Maya, Brahman is the only thing that is the whole.
Right.
And that is what you and I are. And from Brahma, Maya, Brahmashraya Maya. And then therefore the whole creation is a reflection of Brahman. So what is Brahman is also there in creation.
Yeah.
So Brahman is knowledge principle, and therefore there is knowledge even in the the whole of creation. And that is what is to be verified, not to be believed or taken as a promise.
Right.
So how the statement "you are Brahman" or Tattvamasi will fall in this line? Because you said it should be verified, not believed. But faith is only thing which we believe and we work on it in our dharma. You are Brahman. We think like that first, and then things happen.
Yeah, so what we have, that Shraddha, correct, what you said is right. That Shraddha is required in what? What is Shraddha again? Is Guru Vedanta Vakyeshu Vishwasaha Shraddha.
Mm.
So you have that Shraddha in um, in the words of the Shastra. The Shastra is saying you are Brahman, Tattvamasi. So
Mm.
your Shraddha is in the words of the Shastra, not in the statement. The statement you have to verify by you yourself realizing it.
Mhm.
You take it, it's a statement of fact. There is no defying this fact. So that Shraddha, what is required, is in the Shastra, in the words of the Shastra. What we need to do is to pursue the Shastra, do our sadhana, whatever is required for self-inquiry, contemplation, Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana, to verify the statement. Like someone tells you water is H2O and it boils at 100 degrees.
Mm.
Do you believe that? Is it a belief or is it a statement of fact? That water
Shiv.
is it boils at 100 degrees
Mm.
is a fact. It's the truth.
Correct.
So where your belief is required, Shraddha is required is, even if you do not have that initial Shraddha, you will not even go forward to verify it. You will stay stuck saying, no, I will not believe you. How do you say water is H2O? How do you say water will boil at 100 degrees?
Mm.
So there is no further progress for you.
Mm.
So first thing is you believe in that statement that yes, water is H2O and it boils at 100 degrees. That statement is not a belief. That statement is truth. Tattvamasi is truth. But you believe that. So the first step you take is to have that belief. Then you go on and you verify it. Then you boil water 100 degrees and you see that it boils. And then you say, hey, yes, this is right. This is the truth. I've recognized the truth.
Mm.
Correct?
Correct. Correct.
So the Shraddha is certainly required. Shraddha is one of our wealths. To pursue this knowledge in order to validate, in order to verify this and recognize this knowledge.
Mm.
That knowledge also he said two margas, right? Pravritti Lakshana, I think, or
Yeah.
then
Pravritti Lakshana Yoga and
Nivritti Lakshana Yoga.
Nivritti Lakshana Jnana Yoga.
Jnana. Oh, okay. So this one is Karma Sannyasa Yoga, is it? Or Jnana?
Yeah, this Jnana Karma Sannyasa Yoga. The name of the chapter itself
Jnana
is
Karma Sannyasa Yoga.
Sannyasa Yoga.
Okay.
Yeah. Today we will stop in another 4 minutes, huh? Because we'll have to get the sadhana started. So there is this. Self-knowledge does not go away. And what kind of yoga is it? This yoga, this knowledge is Avyaya Yoga because it gives you that which does not die, meaning moksha, liberation. Moksha is the only thing that does not go away because it is identical with the Atma, which is eternal. It is knowledge of the Atma. Moksha gain is gained forever. In his commentary on this verse, Shankara says, that this moksha, the result of this yoga, is in the form of clear vision of the Atma, samyak darshana nishtha, for which there is no death, vyaya, at all. Once the knowledge is gained, it is gained. This moksha is not something from which you come back, like the experience of nirvikalpa samadhi, because with this knowledge, the jivatva, the notion of being a limited individual, is destroyed. Once gained, there is no coming back, which is why the knowledge is called avyaya. So, this is avyaya. This does not have, this is eternal. This does not die. It gives you that. What does it give you, this knowledge? It gives you moksha. And moksha is identical with Atma, which is eternal. And then this moksha, the result of this yoga, is in the form of clear vision of the Atma, samyak darshana nishtha, for which there is no death, vyaya, at all. Once the knowledge is gained, it is gained. This moksha is not something from which you come back, like the experience of nirvikalpa samadhi. Because with this knowledge, the jivatva, the notion of being a limited individual, is destroyed. Once gained, there is no coming back, which is why the knowledge is called avyaya. See, nirvikalpa samadhi is an experience. After that, once you're out of that samadhi, you come back. You're back to square one, so to say. Right? So that is only an experience. Whereas the samyak darshana atma, samyak darshana nishtha, that is clear vision of the atma, is not an experience. It is a recognition. In the second verse, addressing Arjuna as Parantapa, the destroyer of enemies, Krishna says, in this way, the knowledge has been coming down from the families of kings, as well as through the families of sages, rishis. Thus, there are two types of flow through which this knowledge is transmitted from one generation to the other. So one through the rishis and one through the kings. So we'll stop here. And we'll continue tomorrow from page 18. So Krishna is actually summing up the sampradaya, because usually the sampradaya, that is the handing down over from one generation to the other, is generally given either at the beginning or at the end of the text. So Krishna, having finished chapter 2 completely, giving the whole knowledge, and again reiterating it in chapter 3, is giving the sampradaya. Aham vivas. He's given this knowledge to Vivaswan. Vivaswan gave it to his son Manu, and so on. This knowledge is imperishable, eternal, avyaya. And this knowledge is not something to be believed. It is something to be recognized. And it is the truth. Om Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Tat Sat Shri Krishna Arpanamastu. Jai Gurudev. Let's pray that peace prevails in the world and that sanity dawns on the powers to be. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. I know that's what in my mind all day today.
Yeah.
This timeline, that was so scared, like, oh my God, please get this guy,
Yeah.
give him some good buddhi to take care of things, like
Right,
that's how the
right.
prayer was like.
I
Give
know.
him this head of all these people to make sure they make right decisions for the welfare of the all.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Jai Jai
Yeah,
Gurudev. Let's pray.
you guys were all in our mind, like we don't know what will happen to anyone, for that matter. It's so God, I think God is so grace. I mean, amazing grace. That's what we have to say.
Yeah.
Yeah. So thank
Jai
you,
Gurudev.
Dr.
Thank you,
Ramana.
Yeah,
Gurudev.
yeah.
Hmm.
Jai Gurudev.
Yeah.
Bye.